Sir, we'll be going live in a minute. So, hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of a podcast series. And today we have two of the HRs who are actually doing very good in their industries, Mr. Ramesh Shankar and Mr. Shekhar Kumar. So, we'll be interacting with them just to know much of the insights of these industries and what they actually expect from the people when they interact with the newcomers or the interns. So, Simran, over to you. Can you please help us explain about the topic?
So good evening, everyone. This is Simran. So the topic of today's episode is basically sonder. Sonder is basically a feeling of realization where we realize that every person we come across, even a stranger or a known person, has a complex life as of our own. So this is the topic of conversation today. So and he wishes to be a better human being every day and to help people every day. So that's a very nice thought of you, Mr. Ramesh. Fishing, it's a social enterprise, and a retired executive vice president and the HR head for sales. So, Mr. Ramesh, I would like to ask you about the word HR. Like, what exactly does HR mean to you?
Thank you, Simran. Actually, thanks for the opportunity. I would say the word HR to me means dealing with people at all levels, both inside the organization and outside the organization. So, how do I create a space within the organization which attracts the best of talent from outside the organization? And while they are within the organization, how do I enable their nurturing and growth? So everything which we do from recruitment to retirement, from training to development, performance management, the reward and recognition, every process which we develop, design, has to be with this principle that is enabling every individual to blossom. So that is what HR is all about. If you ask.
Okay. So, so what exactly, like the word sonder, like on which level you can relate to this word sonder, and are there any experiences you would like to share about this with our audience?
Yeah, I actually when I got this invite, I got a call from Gyanendra and he asked me to speak on this subject. To be very honest, I should confess that I had heard this word for the first time. I had never heard of this word sonder in my life before. And so I also went into the dictionary, I went into Google, I went into various sites to understand what this word means. And luckily for me, I nowadays, especially for the last 2 3 years, I am doing a bit of writing. I write a blog every week and I publish a lot of articles. So I thought, let me start thinking on this subject. So I have put my thoughts together as to what I think Sonder is and how Sonder can be related to organizations and individuals. So if you permit me, then I would like to go through a short presentation which I have made, and I'll
Okay.
be happy to share this presentation with all of you at the end of this session. And this I have made exclusively for this session because these are just my thoughts. I may be wrong, so if I am wrong, please forgive me. But these are just my initial thoughts on this subject, and I would like to share with you. And I'll
Sure.
be happy to answer any questions or take any suggestions into this. So let me try sharing the screen if I can.
Yeah, sure. You can share your screen.
Um,
Yeah. Is my screen visible?
yes, sir, we can see your screen.
You can see my slide on.
Yes, sir.
So this is the subject I took, Sonder and life. Uh, And the first question I asked is, what is sonder? And this is the answer I got, which you already explained. That sonder is a feeling that when you realize that everyone you see, everyone who passes by has their own complex life. Their life has the same kind of feelings as yours does, with heartache and happiness and routines and family and everything else that happens in life. So this is the basis on which I have thought about the thoughts which I am sharing. So, in my view, life is nothing but a network of individuals and a web of emotions between them. So, we all go through life, we meet individuals of different types, and we try to relate to them. Some of them we succeed, some of them we don't. But there is a web of emotions, say within family members, between family members, within a community, between communities, within an organization, between organizations, within a nation, between nations, and so on. So, like if you summarize life, it is nothing but a network of individuals and a web of emotions between them. I would say it is. I got this analogy. I mean, I just thought about it, saying it is like the five fingers in our hand. Each finger is different. Each has a purpose, and actually, we come to know the purpose of the finger only when we get injured. If such small injury happens to any of the, even the little finger, then we realize how important the little finger is in our whole system. Similarly, every individual is unique. He or she wants to live life their own way. We need to respect every person. Every individual has varied perspectives. Everyone has their own strengths and weaknesses, and nothing is right or wrong. It's all relative. Because if I do something for someone else, it may look wrong, but for me, it is right, and the other way around. As long as I am within the precincts which society approves of, and I think the individual should be able to blossom the way he or she wants to. So, if I look at diversity in life, life is diverse. Every day is a discovery. Every individual we meet is different. I mean, for me, this is one of the most fascinating things in life. We have an opportunity to learn and grow from each person. And India is a bedrock of rich diversity. We have regions, we have communities, we have languages, we have religions, and so on. So, it is a natural blend of diversity which happens in the country. If you look at diversity in organizations, diversity can be the strength of organizations. I mean, today, many organizations, especially multinationals, talk of diversity of inclusion as a big fad. But if you ask me, in India, it is an inbuilt because of the vastness and cultural heritage of our country. We have regions, we have religions, we have communities, we have languages, etc. And here I want to share an experience saying that I was lucky to be born in a family where my father was in the central government. And because of that, we got transferred every 3 years to different parts of the country. And I started in Calcutta, my schooling, and then I was in Jabalpur, then I was in Chennai, then I finished my education, and then I started my career in Bhilai, then I went to Indore, then I went to Delhi, then Bangalore, then Chennai, then again Bangalore, and from Bangalore I went to Bombay, and then I retired. So it has been a great experience, and that is one of the lessons that I've learned, that if you live in different parts of the country, and today for the youngsters, if you could live in different parts of the world, that's a great opportunity for you to learn and grow, and you will learn to adapt yourself to this multiple uh, ecosystems which prevail in different parts of the country and different parts of the world. For us, luckily, India is like a mini Europe. I mean, we are like multiple countries all built into one. We don't not only have a huge geographical area, but we have ethnic diversity, we have cultural diversity, we have languages. I don't think any other country in the world has about 28 languages on their constitution. There is not many countries which have so many different sort of traditions, which are their culture and traditions, which are prevalent in different parts of the country, and still we are one. Organizations should thrive on the diversity to deal with any challenge. I mean, diversity brings in varied thinking. It is able to look at the same problem from multiple perspectives, and thereby it is a very, very helpful tool to take it forward. The other concept is about connectedness. No individual likes to work alone. Everyone wants to be connected. So individuals start with family, then they connect with neighborhood, with community, then they get into organizations, and finally society. All of them are networks. And human being is a social animal. You put a person alone in a room and lock him for the whole day, and that'd be the biggest punishment you can give. So everybody wants to interact with somebody else. Like for example, the current pandemic is making us sit at home, and we are finding loneliness, finding depression, finding it difficult to deal with things because we are not able to interact with people on a day-to-day basis, face to face. So connectedness brings out the best in us always, and this is something which we need to remember. The more we are able to relate and connect to people, the more successful we are. Every individual is like a bud. As I said, since this concept of sonder is that every individual is like a bud, organization is like the garden, culture in organizations is like the fertilizer. If organizations create the right climate, every individual can bloom into a beautiful flower. Every flower is special, and organizations need to learn to deal with them differently. We can't think that the rose is similar to a jasmine or a jasmine is similar to a parijat flower. Everyone is different and everyone has his own specialty. Some are more in perfume, some are better in looks, some are better in something else. So somebody is more creative, somebody is more analytical, somebody is very out of box thinker, and so on. So we have to create the organization. As I said, an individual like a bud, organization like the garden. We need to create the cultural organization which enables, it is like a catalyst to provide the right climate for every individual to bloom like a flower. If I have to summarize my thoughts, I would say life is all about dealing with individuals, managing relationships and emotions. Diversity and differences have to be leveraged as strengths. Though everybody is different, everybody has their own complex life, everybody has their own strengths and weaknesses, but we need to thrive on diversity. Nations and organizations need to learn to thrive on diversity. Organization climate, which I said is the fertilizer, actually helps employees bloom and realize their potential. It is like a gardener. Basically, what the gardener does is he creates the ground in such a way that whatever seed he or she puts into the garden, they bloom. That's because the soil is fertile, the watering is appropriate, and so on. Communities and nations need to let individuals bloom and flower. So this is what we need to do as individuals and communities. And when we get into organizations, this is something we need to remember that we are an individual. Every individual is different. We need to relate to everybody, and we need to work with everyone for the best success we want to achieve in the organization. The more we are able to connect with people, the more successful we are. So these are my blog sites. This is my website, and I'm available on the social media on all channels: LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and I'll share this presentation with all of you. I've also published two books. One is called Sights and Insights. The other is called Life and Living. Both are available on Amazon. This also I'll be sharing with you all on this thing. And all the proceeds of this book go to a social cause. I mean, I don't earn 1 rupee from these books or anything which I do as part of my consulting and training and coaching, which I do currently. I use this organization called History for doing my coaching and consulting. So this proceeds of this organization also go to a social cause. The cause which I am working for is about eradicating blindness amongst children, which can be prevented. So I do support projects and support organizations which are working in this area. And 100% by God has been kind to me, so I don't need any more money to live or be happy. So thank you very much for this opportunity, and I think it's a great opportunity for me to learn a new subject and share my thoughts. So thank you, Nivedita, and
Thank you, sir. That was
Thank you so much, sir, for your presentation and your words. So, on that note, I actually want to know more about the thing that you told us about networking. As you told that networking is one of the basic part that everyone or every individual must do. So, sir, like we have seen the different individuals working together, but it is not necessary that they will be able to communicate between themselves. Maybe due to the difference in their family backgrounds, or maybe they are from different locations. So in those cases, how do you think it is possible to do networking, and how is it possible to be good friends and then do something which has a good outcome?
Yeah. Actually, a good analogy can be the current cricket environment, the IPL, which we are going through. So, if you look at a cricket team today, earlier cricket teams were formed within nations, where you had people from different states coming together to play the game for the country. Today, in an IPL team, you have people coming from different countries, not only nations but different states, but different countries. But they still play together. So it's a great opportunity for these people who are playing together, not only to learn from each other, they have an opportunity to learn the cultural diversity of different countries. They know what yes and no means in India is different from what yes and no means in Germany or in France or in Australia or in US or wherever they are coming from. And they also have their own strengths vis-a-vis us. So if our strength is Bugad, maybe German strength is engineering, or a Japanese strength is quality, or an American strength is entrepreneurship, and so on. So everybody has their own strength. So we need to find opportunities to learn and grow. It depends on the individual. For example, if I join an organization, I'm working in a team. A team consists of say 10 people, and they come from different states, then or different regions of the country or different countries, as in a multinationals we see. Then it is for me, it is up to me to go and learn from each one of them. It is up to me to put my neck out, take the risk, and say that I don't know. I mean, that's the most difficult thing to do. For example, if I say that I don't know, I have not heard this word sonder before. I mean, this is something people might laugh because I have spent 38 years in industry, and I am 61 years old by age. So, if at this age and with this experience, if I say I don't know, it can be viewed as ignorance, it can be viewed as foolishness. But it requires courage to say that I don't know, because it is a reality. We can't know everything under the sun. So if you don't know, then it's an opportunity to learn. So I decided that I attend this session not only because I felt every invite I got from a student community throughout my career, I used to always accept, except in emergencies where I could not. But today I thought it was a great opportunity to learn from this interaction, not only from the panelists but from the interactions with the students I have.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for your time and words. Now, moving forward, the another guest that whom we have is Mr. Shekhar Kumar. He is the founder and CEO, and he is into HR, talent acquisition, marketing, business, and innovations. So, sir, I want to know, like you've been working in with this industry and you've been looking into so many people. So, how do you think that Sonder is actually applicable in real life?
Thank you very much, Nivedita, for giving me this opportunity to interact with you, Simran and Mr. Ramesh Chandra, and anyone who will be listening this podcast in future. I think if I analyze the word sonder and recall a movie which has been one of the biggest hits in the Bollywood, it's quite relevant. And the name of the movie is Jab We Met, where a character like Geet has a spark, meets an unknown guy while traveling. They are having their own life challenges, problems, tensions. They don't know each other, but with respect to time, the complexities, interaction, connectivity, which was not planned, develops into a great relationship where they are able to help each other. I think this movie itself gives us the best definition when we recall the entire script, how it is relevant to our life, and anyone who is present, alive, and somewhere waiting for someone to get in touch with, interact, share a kind of synergy, and help each other. I hope I have answered your question.
Yes, sir. And moving forward, like you've been working with different domains. So while picking up people, like the best fit for the job. So how do you decide that what can be the best fit? Is it the talent or is it the someone? Is it someone of the person who's actually hardworking and can do much better if they take a lot of time?
Well, my talent acquisition practice is very different from the industry standard because I believe in giving a chance to everyone who has a positive attitude toward taking up an assignment, ready to learn and perform. So when I hire people, when I interact with people, I don't go with selection and rejection process. I make an assessment of what the other person is capable of, what is the right profile where he is a fitment. If he is a good fitment for the position I am hiring for my own organization, he joins us. But if I see that a potential has relevance with any of our channel partners, employers, entrepreneurs, innovators, investors who are connected with me, I make a reference to them to see, make a assessment of their talent and offer an opportunity so that they can show their hard work, dedication, skills. Because if you won't get an opportunity, Nivedita, you cannot ever perform. One break can make you or break you forever. So I believe when I go for hiring, whether it's a campus hiring or a online hiring, my objective has been seeing what is hidden inside a person and what he or she is looking forward to. He could be a top executive looking for a change or an unemployed fresher looking for an opportunity to explore synergy and contribute in the growth of the organization. Based on the position, the profile, wherever I see a good fitment, I try to help people who get in touch with.
Okay, sir, thank you. Sir, I have one question for you. So, being an AI student, I wanted to ask you this. Like, what are the roles of human resource management in the area of artificial intelligence? Like, what's the future of HR gonna look like in the field of AI specifically?
That's a very interesting question. Well, as far as AI is concerned, whether you accept it or not, slowly, gradually, technology is getting empowered with respect to time. No field is an exception where technology hasn't played an important role. Human resource is not an exception as well. When I speak in terms of hiring, recruitment, talent acquisition, let's take a very simple example of a job site where people go submit their CVs, and when they see there is a job posting, they apply and expect a response from the HR. most of the freshers who apply, they never ever get a call from the HR team. It could be because there has been a very huge volume of applicants, or the CV was not shortlisted as per the filter that they have installed in their system, which you don't know, a fresher never learns about it. And that's where AI is playing a invisible assistance, which you need to accept the reality of future. The organization that I have founded and I'm working for has a focus in terms of doing and promoting things which is to make a person future ready. If you know what is the next thing that is coming up and you take that technology, you go for the information, you
Hello?
I guess there is some connectivity issue with him. Hello, sir, can you hear me?
I think his connection is lost.
Yeah. Okay, by the time, let's move forward. So we had planned an open discussion with both of you. So, sir, my question for that the first question that I had is, for example, you have two of the candidates and both are kind of 99% match. So, how do you choose a single candidate because you have vacancy for just one person? And with this competition in the market, you in fact have to see that the best talent has to come to your organization. So, how do you distinguish between these two people and how do you choose that which is the best fit for you?
So basically, what organizations do is, and which I also used to do, or still do, is that we look at skill and will of a person. Okay,
Yes.
and every organization will try to assess the person based on skill and will. Like Simran was asking about artificial intelligence. So suppose I am selecting somebody for artificial intelligence, assuming both of you are competent in artificial intelligence. So on the skill level, both of you will get 10 out of 10. Okay. Then I will assess your will. What's your attitude? And personally, I recruit for attitude because skill can always be developed, but attitude beyond a particular age becomes difficult to change. So, how is the eagerness to learn? How is the ability to work in a team? How is the person to accept failure? How is the person willing to change mindsets and so on? So, if the individual has the person who has got a better, more positive attitude, that's the person.
Okay. So, sir, my next question is, like we have all seen that people so much underrate the HRs. So, how much do you think that HRs are equally important in an organization? While we have seen that many in fact movies or in jokes or anything, we have actually underrated the HRs a lot. That they are like the other person without whom we can run a job. So, how do you think that this is not correct, and how much do you think that we have underrated it?
See, it all depends on what is the value I bring to the table. So, in an organization, if HR is bringing value to the table, for example, if I take Siemens, where I used to last work,
Yes, sir.
we had about 20,000 employees in India, and we had about 120 people in HR. So, if these 120 people whom I lead brings in value to the table, where every business manager, every employee feels that HR is adding value in terms of recruitment, in terms of training, in terms of being fair, in terms of reward and recognition, in terms of representing employee issues. listening to employees. For example, the pandemic currently is a great opportunity for HR to play a very active role. People are sitting at home, they're feeling depressed. How do you ensure that they are connected? How do we communicate better? How do we relate to them better? So when an employee feels low, the employee should go to his HR, and the person will go to HR only if HR adds value. Because it is like your friend. I mean, if you are in trouble, whom do you talk to? Your best friend. You may not even talk to your sister or brother, but you may talk to your best friend. Because the best friend adds maximum value to your life. So similarly, in organizations, HR has to be the best friend of the employee. So if HR plays that role, then yes, organizations value HR. If HR plays the role of a gatekeeper or a security guard or trying to check out employees at the time of retrenchment or only issuing appointment letters and termination letters or compensation review letters, then HR is not playing its role. If HR has a listening ear, HR has a development focus, HR is an enabler, HR fights for you when there is unfairness to you done. For example, a promotion is denied to a deserving employee. HR should play the role of an arbiter and ensure that the employee gets promoted. So that is the role of HR. If you do that, then the employee will be indebted to you for life. Let me give you a story. This is a real incident which happened. I was working in one of the organizations, which was Aisha, and we had a factory in Jaipur, so which we closed down. And we were closing down that factory, and there were over 150 employees working in that factory. So what we did in HR is that we spoke to every single employee and we said, give us 3 location preferences and 3 functional preferences, and we will take you to some one of the other jobs. So we were a big organization, multiple businesses, multiple locations. So I spoke to the HR. I was the HR head of that business, and we spoke to the HR of all the other businesses, and we ensured that there is a space, there is an opportunity for these 150 people. So 120 out of 50 people got placed. 30 of them said, no, we don't want to go out of Jaipur. We want to be, since we are locals, we want to be here only. So we will look out for a job. So we help them get jobs in Jaipur itself. So if this is the role we played, then the 150 employees of that factory would be highly indebted to HR because they felt that HR saved their jobs, HR enabled their careers. But assuming we had closed our eyes and said, okay, the company has wound up, here is your termination letter, here is your compensation, and you can find your jobs. Goodbye and best of luck. And then I disconnect my phone, I don't even pick up mobile phone. Then naturally you will say HR is useless.
So, sir, I have one question for you. Like, if I want to develop a career in human resource, so what all the qualities I'll be needing for that? Like any specific skills or any specific courses for that, something like that.
The first quality is you need to dirty your hands. So get into a job where you are able to, for example, typically IR is an area where people refrain to go. I mean, everybody wants to go into artificial intelligence or some other place, but nobody wants to go into the what is it called, the dirty jobs, or the so-called dirty jobs. So in any function, there are jobs which are not very attractive in today's context, but it is a good idea to learn those jobs. So first is our eagerness to learn new things and doing it with our own hands and dirtying our hands. The second is a positive attitude to learn at all times. So how do I learn and how do I grow? So eagerness to participate in all teams, eagerness to stretch yourself beyond your normal duty or normal course of work, and be a great team player so everybody loves to work with you. So that is the second quality. The third quality is how do I listen to people. Nowadays, most sending a WhatsApp message is the end of story, but listening to people is lost. So if an employee is in distress, he or she does not want anything else but a good listening ear. Just like I told you the analogy of a friend. So if you are able to sit down over a cup of tea or coffee and listen to an employee for 1 hour, then the employee's 50% of the problem is solved. But we don't do that. We only write letters, we exchange emails, we exchange WhatsApp messages, but we don't have time for people. So the third thing is, how do I connect to every employee, irrespective of whatever level you are. You should be able to connect to every single employee in the organization. For example, if I had 20,000 employees in Siemens, I should be reachable to those 20,000. Any employee sends me a message on WhatsApp or on Messenger or anywhere else, or whatever chat site you have within the organization, I should be able to respond, irrespective of the fact that I was HR head. Doesn't matter, because that is what your role is. So the fourth quality is ability to communicate. How you are able to communicate well to your organization. So if I say these simple things, first, dirty your hands. Second, build relationships. Third, learning and keeping a positive attitude. Fourth, communication. And fifth, listening. If you are able to do this, I think you'll make a great chance.
So that is it from my side. Nivita, do you have any question for Anish, sir?
Sorry?
No, no, sir. Actually, yeah, thank you so much for being here and for sharing these much knowledgeable tips with us and for your presentation as well.
I
Thanks a
just want
lot for being here, and we hope you also like talking to us.
Yeah, I liked it very much. So thank you very much. I think Shekhar has left the call.
he has
Yeah,
got connection issues. So,
Okay. So thank you very much. Wish you all the best.
thank you so much, sir.
I can leave the call
Bye.
now.
Yeah,
Should I leave the call now?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Hello. Huh? Yeah, can I call you back? Actually, I'm on a Zoom call. I'll call you back.
So you can exit via. Yeah.